What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Gears Esports Pro League, day number 8. I am Colin the Crow Clark, being joined by Jacob MVPR in our first matchup. United got a clean sweep over Elevate 3-0, but this next match, this might be the farthest thing from a clean sweep we see all season long. It is the Pittsburgh Knights versus Noble, and this is going to be an intense one, Jacob.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a match between two great teams in Latin America. Noble, who kind of cemented themselves, and it's going to be hard to disagree, as the #1 team right now in the region. I wouldn't say by far, because a couple teams on the hill, specifically this one, the Pittsburgh Knights, formerly known as the #1 team in Latin America. They too want to reclaim their top spot, just like a lot of these other teams. So this matchup is more than just a matchup for the ranking. This is for bragging rights. This is for claim to be the best in the region. And that's not just any region, Colin. It's one of the most passionate regions in Gears Esports history.
Indeed it is. Well, let's take a look at the Knights roster here first. They are going to be made up of Monkyz, Dezonide, Raver, and the newest addition this Pro League will be Chaoz, joining back up with a couple of old school teammates of his, and this roster's looking to get back to the top of the mountain, just like you said.
Yeah, and they added in Chaoz. They bring in kind of IGL, hoping things would kind of be a little bit easier, alleviate some of that pressure from the roster, allow Ravers and Monkyz kind of focus on being that tip of the spear, being that player that can go in, pick up some big kills, and kind of get out. But honestly, they've had some lackluster performances. They had some performances that look like they could be one of the best teams in the game, and then they have some heartbreaking losses, particularly yesterday against Oxygen, a 3-2 game number 5 loss. And those one of those moments where you look it back down at the end of the season, you're trying to figure out why your ranking is, your record is the way it is. It's those matchups to where a season ago you took easily.
Indeed, and now we will take a look at the roster that had the best team intro in possibly history, Noble, made up of dyslexic Xploidz, Fearzly, and of course, the heart and soul of this squad, Toti.
Yep, Toti, one of those players, kind of, since he joined the Pro League in general. I know he's been on some great rosters, Nimbus, he's been on Simplicity with the man, the myth, the legend, Kenny Bounce himself. But since he's joined the Pro League in Gears of War 5, all he has done is elevate rosters. He's did it with a former Noble roster before he actually joined and signed with this one. He's done it with so many other teams, and dyslexic, I said it a few years ago, he has the movement. He has the potential to be one of the best players in the game. In this past year, not just one season or split, this past year, he is constantly proving it. You followed out by Xploidz and Fearzly, two scary players that don't get the credit, and they don't care about the credit, Colin. They care about the W.
Well, we'll find out if they have a chance at getting said W here tonight, because this is going to be an interesting one. Really, I think that the way that these two teams kind of match up and stack up against each other are very close to one another, but two of the players that are probably closer than any others, we're going to see right here, and Toti and Monkyz as our key player matchup. 6 to 2nd, 8 to 2nd, and 23rd to 10. So while execution for Toti a little lackluster, we're still very close, very neck and neck against Monkyz, who has, without a doubt, for almost years now, been top 5 in all statistical categories. That'll be Monkyz. He might be the most consistent player we have out of a guy instead of a guy like Powers. He's almost mental-esque the way that he's able to put up those numbers.
Yeah, I like this matchup. Two players that really, time and time again, that do anything for the team. It doesn't matter if their eliminations are not where they need it to be. They're still playing the perfect role for their roster. Toti, a little bit different than Monkyz, though. Toti plays it more of a support style role. Monkyz plays it in a more of an aggressive style role. Either way, they look to get that same job done for their team. So that's why I think this is a beautiful matchup for their squad. And it really goes to show that this is going to be one of these matchups that is going to set the tone for the remainder of this split going into that major. This is going to be the matchup that these teams probably watch the VOD for the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be very, very important to really kind of utilize every single moment in the matchups, every single second from the moment you're playing the matchups to the moment you're watching them the second time, trying to figure out what went right or what might have went wrong.
Well, we'll get to see what maps these teams are going to play next and how they're going to try to make these decisions be right or wrong for themselves. Already, though, I gotta say, I enjoy the fact that the Knights had a chance to put Checkout on there as map number 5, but after their map 5 loss to Oxygen yesterday, they don't take the chance. They don't have the demons and the ghosts possibly haunt them. They go to Execution on Clocktower. But I am just a bit stretchy in the head with those first 2 map picks by the Knights.
Yeah, I don't know. Speyer control, they haven't really shown that they have the coordination and teamwork to really have that be a successful map pick. If Noble's able to kind of get some advantage, keep the eliminations going their way, work together with the leadership of Toti, that one's going to be a doozy, and very, very similar to Tomb. Tomb's being picked by Noble. You got to think that another objective game mode being Escalation on training grounds. This one's going to be scary. I think if it could go to a map 5, I think Pittsburgh Knights can pull off an upset victory, and I'll say an upset because they are the underdogs. But they have to make it that far. And this is looking like Noble can close this one out 3-0.
Well, we'll be able to find out if they will. I want to go ahead and ask you a quick question as we keep the maps up for just a moment, if you don't mind. I would love to kind of have your personal take on Noble picking Reactor. We saw Noble have a falling off on that map kind of about 2 weeks ago in one of their matchups. Is there anything you see thus far about Noble that would give you cause to pause? Like, oh yeah, they're going to come right back on this. There's no reason for them to be concerned whatsoever. And that it's a good pick against the Knights.
I think it is, because right now the Knights don't have the best leadership. They don't have the best teamwork, or at least it's not as consistent as you would like it. Reactor can have and does have very, very many aggressive moments, and moments that I think Noble can utilize, and moments that I think can be added with a little bit of spice in terms of the Lancer, which I think Toti plays that perfect role. If they can anchor themselves a little bit of that high ground, set themselves up with their Slayers towards the front, allow Toti to play and lean in towards that support role, I do think they do have the upper hand on Reactor. But that's just one of those moments to where if it goes that far, if we see a map number 4, you got to wonder how Pittsburgh Knights took it that far, how heated up Monkyz and Raver are going to be. Because I will say this, Colin, if Monkyz and Raver are not playing out of their minds, there is no way the Pittsburgh Knights win this series.
That is a bold statement. Some might even say that's a bold prediction. And while we're on the topic of predictions, let's get right into ours. I'll go ahead first this time, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to pick Noble. I've been riding and dying with them, and by that I mean the one time I pick against them, I was wrong. So I ain't going to do that. Nope, not going to have them. Not going to do it.
I mean, I said it time and time again. The Pittsburgh Knights is one of those teams, man, especially these core group of guys. It's not just the organization itself, Colin, but Monkyz being in boot camps with that guy, Dezonide, Chaoz as well. Not so much Raver. I don't have that familiarity, but these guys are like family to me. You know what I mean? I've looked after these guys while they kind of take these boot camps in America time and time again in the past. So it's very, very hard when I'm seeing these matchups. I'm making these predictions. It's almost like I'm going against my own brother at times. But I said it. Raver and Monkyz need to go out of their minds. They need to play insane in order to take this series. And I don't think Noble's going to let that happen. They can have moments where they go out of their mind. They might have a round where they go out of their mind. But Noble overall has 5 total maps, 3 of them to win, to shut down any Pittsburgh Knights might have up their sleeve.
The only thing that gives me cause to pause while we get the chat's prediction in is the fact that since the tuning has dropped, I've seen Noble have some of their struggles in recent weeks, more struggles than they have had more often than not, because of the speed kind of getting a little quicker. We'll be able to see how they continue to adapt to it, if they can get faster than the Knights, because we know that it's going to be sped up now. We know that these teams have to get faster in order to win these games. But we also have to know who chat is going with. Is it going to be the purple people leaders down there all across the board, all 3 of us, or they surprise us and go with the Knights? Nope, it'll be purple people eaters, baby.
No surprise. It ain't nobody's birthday. It ain't no holiday. No surprises for nobody.
It ain't nobody's birthday. Who's the closest birthday we got right now?
It is somebody's birthday. Happy birthday to my brother at home. I don't think he's watched this. He might be face deep in some cake right now, which I hope he saves me some, which I'll never get any. But happy birthday to my brother out there. It is somebody's birthday.
He didn't save you no cake, but you're going to wish him happy. I'm not going to lie to you. You don't save me cake, you don't get no happy birthday. Nope. I'm too fat. Right. I'm too fat. I covet my desserts too much.
Let's take a look. Amen to that, man. I was Cancun.
You were trying to be a good human.
I didn't know. I was in Cancun, and they didn't have really any snacks on the resort, I had to hit an OXXO and get myself some snacks, bro.
I completely understand that and feel that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we fly through Speyer, this is a very large map. It's very hard to control the angles necessarily, and we'll have to see which team does a better job of that in a lot of these situations and who can actually rotate the other one, so on and so forth. There's a lot that goes on in a map of Speyer, and both teams will roll out a spawn and try to do their best job to take advantage of any opening that the other one gives it. I still believe that this map really boils down to controlling kind of that cathedral area. It allows you to press out toward that drop shot. It allows you to have control over the mid-neutral hills. It makes life very hard to get across the map as well for your opponents. We go on board with Raver first, who will be coming up those mid stairs. Flash in hand, he's going to drop it at the feet of Xploidz. Both of them will roll away from the stuns in an attempt to be able to get back into their face, but 3 players from Fire and Ice will be going for the 3-man push, now 4-man push. Chaoz on the backside, 6 o'clock with the snub, and the Lancer will get the downs, they'll get the kills, and now Xploidz all by his lonesome. He's going to get picked on and picked out. He's going to go down. He's going to be taken out.
This is a start that I didn't necessarily expect, but it's a start that is going to be a must for the Pittsburgh Knights. When you come out on top, you gain that momentum. No matter what happens in the late portion of the game, you give yourself a cushion, even if the worst, as Dyslexic gets taken out by a drop shot as they continue to try to force these players back. Fearzly is going to go down as well as they continue on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights to stagger out these deaths. Toti seems to become a next target. Pistol shots on 9,000 as they clean up another elimination. Dyslexic again being pressured towards the backside. 3v1 possibility. Can he fight them all? No, he cannot, as Dezonide shuts them down yet again as they take a hold of a great initial strategy and great initial hold onto the hill to have a massive lead.
Now we'll see what the side of Noble can do here. Going for the Lancer fire. Monkyz is going to come flying out of nowhere to not only save his teammate, but get a kill. 3v4 on the map right now as that next hill will spawn here in the next 7 to 8 seconds. You're going to see them off of that hill, neutralizing it out, causing it to be a longer set to delay. Xploidz will be holding down this front car. First nade in, we'll get a kill on Dyslexic. That should open it up wide for the rest of the players from the Knights to push in. Xploidz can't really take these angles. He's going to be heavily damaged. Drops the flash on one side of the car. Goes for the slide and die. He'll go taken down. Fearzly gets a big shot there, a big spread, but I mean, immediately the retake from the Knights is picture perfect.
I just looked at each other, yo. They just give each other daps after that one. The way they just kind of spotted, like, yeah, good job, man. Good job. We're going to hold that 40+ seconds on the first hill. Already 20 being scored here on the second one. Dyslexic being stuck, and it just looks like Noble, they're just not awake for this game. They still have eye boogers in their eye. They're still just yawning. Somebody needs to wake them up right now, because if nobody does, the Pittsburgh Knights might wake them up with a map #1 victory if they can continue on to this momentum. But Fearzly, he has some plans of his own. He tries to get one, get some help from Dyslexic to get #2. That one's going to be cleaned up. A big shot. He gets back to back, but they get, what, 18 seconds, if that, as it looks like Pittsburgh Knights are just out of there. Those eliminations, Colin, that we talked about in that map #1 series with United, that's going to allow them to try to spawn outwards and hopefully be the first to the bunch.
Toti is already over here toward that spawn. They're going to have Xploidz, excuse me, with that drop shot going toward the hill. Dyslexic here on the top side of the Cathedral. 2 shots on. Third shot gets the down. They're going to spawn up over there, and it looks like they're going to maybe bait themselves into that fight, but Monkyz just waiting in the wings here. I'm not sure. They're not going to go wide. They're going to leave Monkyz basically to his own devices in this back cubby. I think he might be poking out now. He's been seen. Big body shot on by Toti. He tries to go for the roadie strafe right into his face. He's going to get taken down. They're going to bleed him out for a moment, let him think about that mistake, and it will take him off. 83 to 50, though. Very much a closer lead than what you might have thought after the first 2 hills, but nonetheless, the Knights, they're going to go for their first retake here on P3. Backside of this globe, drop shot still in the hands of Xploidz. 1 rocket to use in his pocket. Let's see if he can get a kill with it.
I feel like they can get an elimination on any one of these guys that kind of anchors down one of these entry points. Specifically, if you can kind of nail down one onto Dezonide. That one's not even going to connect with any damage. Dyslexic goes down. Xploidz is going to fall. Fearzly taken out. That's 3 players stacked up and dropped. Looking like it's going to be a 4th with Toti getting taken out. That's a full-on squad wipe, but It's got no time left on the hill. So Noble did a good job of being able to bleed that one dry. And just like with the Pittsburgh Knights, with those eliminations, that's going to kind of alleviate some pressure and some stress off the back of Noble and allow them to spawn outward and make just as good of a retake on this next hill than ever before.
Now Fearzly, they're going to be holding off players from the Knights, trying to rotate up, mainly Monkyz, who's now going to try to bounce up through those stairwell. Big shots onto Fearzly. They're missing him, but then they go with the double shot down. There's the kill. It looks like Noble's trying to hold down this top side, not give up that extra angle over to the side of the Knights. One down comes through. Second kill comes through. Xploidz, he will have some help behind, and that'll be Toti. Still inside of the hill. It looks like Dyslexic's all by himself, and he's going to have a fresh drop shot to his name. And I would love to see what they do here as Toti drops one frag off. Monkyz is trying to take over that middle section. He's going to throw the other frag out. They're going to continue to rotate away from it. Both frags in, both frags out. No kills to show for it. And the Knights will now take over that middle section where they have the Lancer angle if need be.
Shot going out, quickly connects. Almost goes for a second one onto Dezonide. Stops him short to kind of keep this hill contested, as this one is about 13 seconds of separation, which isn't much at all, honestly. Might as well be tied at this stage of the game as Toti goes down. Great cross from Dezonide, trying to keep players' heads down, trying to keep that pressure there as he's suppressing for his teammates. They're trying to clean up these eliminations. Monkyz gets down, though, back into the fight. Xploidz gets down. Chain revives are being forced. The Pittsburgh Knights are holding a massive alpha angle over their opponents as Fearzly goes down yet again. A couple of revives are there, but the points are being gained by the Pittsburgh Knights to keep them in the lead. But like I talked about, 13 points one direction, 9 in the other. Still is it nothing.
Dyslexic will be waiting to try to go for that backslide, and the reaction won't be able to get that one. Raver holding down the Cathedral now. He'll be able to go into the hill and try to help out his teammates from the 90-degree angle. Love this positioning from him. He's going to try to make it to Dezo here. Try to get that revive off. He won't be able to get it as cleanly as he'd like to because two players are also dead toward that P2 hot side of the hill. And now it's going to be a four-man push up and through this hill. Dyslexic will be pushing out the side of Raver to the right side here. Xploidz. Dyslexic now moves up onto him, trying to bait him to come out of the hill. There's the extra shot. There's the slide, the die. Two players from the Knights up in the Cathedral. Rest of Noble down inside of the hill. They will officially take their first lead of this map number 1.
I build onto it. One of the first things that we've seen towards this hill, either tacking towards the spawn or getting that first early pick on the other side. That's going to be two keys right here. Dezonide has frag grenades, and that's really going to allow him to cause some disruption, even if he doesn't pick up an elimination. First one going out. Second one is going to be Dish. Unable to go ahead and net himself elimination, but cause the destruction they were looking for. But he gets taken out. Fearzly going ahead and pushing up. Back to back as him and Dyslexic gets one. Pulls out his pistol to get some suppressive fires. They get a third elimination here. As the spawn point, though, that early and quick spawn point is going to go to the Pittsburgh Knights. They can attack right away if they so choose to, but they have to be careful here. Drop shot in the hands of Xploidz, and he's immediately going to be taken out. That is a big elimination, a big find for PK.
Bunch of kills starting to come through here, but they're going to have to rotate over toward Toti. Toti is doing his best impression of a one-man army as he tries to get that down. Xploidz trying to Lancer out. They're going to get a double down here on a Chaoz. There's the third down and out that they needed to get onto him. Raver will be holding that angle. Dyslexic tries to slide in to get one kill of his own, but now the 90-degree angle. Now most of these extra shots for the Pittsburgh Knights will be coming through here, and the Knights setting up here to rotate back into Noble. Xploidz doing his best to try to roadie strafe around that angle in the backside of that hill, but will not be able to get any kills. It looks like they might be leaving somebody in the middle of the map just trying to watch these respawns and possibly rotate in for those frag grenades. Toti is down. Fearzly's there for the revive. They're going to continue to try to get pressured by these two players from the Knights. They need to go for a couple of different angles here to try to open it back up. Monkyz realizes he's going to get rotated on by Dyslexic. Has to rotate out there, but there's a down on a Dezo. This could be the opening they need as they fly into the hill area.
More eliminations, though. That's going to allow them kind of keep that pressure going, but still in the lead by 1. Noble has it intact as they continue to build on to that 1-point lead. 30 seconds left on the hill. That's where you see everyone disperse except for that one person getting the point. That is going to be Toti. I told you, always doing that Lancer, always doing the dirty work for the squad. His first down going to come through. It's actually going to be a trade in downs, but it's the Pittsburgh Knights who are there. Wolfpack to get the revive. They are going to solidify those eliminations. Toti, or say Fearzly, pushing in. He's trying to be a hero, and honestly, has me scratching my head why he tried to make that play, giving up those frag grenades to Monkyz. Dyslexic is going to stagger one out. That's going to give him a few seconds with an advantage. to where there's going to have an opportunity on one side of the map to try to push through, but Xploidz takes it by himself, and it cost him his life.
Monkyz will push through the front door of the Cathedral here along with Chaoz. Flash is going to go out. They're going to try to keep these players off balance. The double frag from Monkyz, though, is there, and it is true. One down for Toti, gets one. He tries to bounce off of that cover to get a second one. Xploidz just outside of the hill. He has to wait for this. This has to be a perfect moment push here. You're paying attention. Here comes Dyslexic. Misses the first player. This is going to go by to the wayside if he can't get any shots on, but he finally gets him, gets one. They take over the hill, up over 200 points. Plenty of time left on this to try to continue to pressure out onto the side of the Knights. Toti, he's going to get blown at by Monkyz now. Third shot together, and there's a misroll from Toti, and it'll find him down, find him dead. 4v3 on the map right now.
Ooh, big shot there from Dezonide. Back A to clean up that elimination. Xploidz, though, gets the down right back. Monkyz, he's just going to throw that flash to try to turn and try to hide here, as he knows that he'll, after 30 seconds, going to go to that lower portions of the map. And the Pittsburgh Knights, they don't want to risk attacking this hill, picking those eliminations, and giving that spawn up to Noble, who would then spawn outward. So they're going to go ahead and backtrack, try to gain both the next kill location and that spawn point on both sides of the map. That's going to separate them into two different sets of two, and that's going to put the pressure on the Dezonide here. He's going to be that flex player, either backtracking, trying to help the spawn point, or pressing forward and trying to tip the hill. He is going to have his plate full.
Dezo will be looking across the map, trying to make sure that nobody is coming into that front angle. Here comes some shots onto him, waiting to see who the pressure is going to come from. Xploidz right on that first cubby. Dezo knows he's got some damage onto him. Easy one shot down and kill. Noble has to press out to the backside of the hill. As they gain control there, Dezo and Chaoz will be outside the front of the hill. It looks like the Noble will have the spawns to the 90 degree, and that's going to be good for the Knights and their fandom. But 30 points away is not good for them, as Noble is continuing to hold on to this situation. Plenty of time left on this hill to be able to win it here as well. But there's the flank from Monkyz. Now Monkyz will push up into this area. He's going to drop a flash into the lap of Fearzly. He's going to get tagged up a little bit from the backside. He has to make sure he doesn't go down here. Two players from the Knights will start to rotate toward the backside. Just 9 seconds to go. All they need, they've got to go in for neutralization to this point. They fly, they don't die, they get the hill. Xploidz, 2v1 situation. PK, good job on them, and good job on the Knights for staying out of that chunk range just to make sure that they don't give up any extra deaths unnecessarily. I enjoy that retake by them, but they are still in a dangerous situation here.
Yeah, dangerous indeed. You need to play absolutely perfect here for the remainder of this matchup. 8 seconds left. You almost had to bleed every hill dry. Monkyz bouncing around. He's not getting very many points, but there it goes. 10 seconds left on the hill. If Raver gets taken out, this could be game, as he needs to stay in and keep this one contested down to 6. This is where you can try to run 99 seconds to one team, and it's going to come down to 2 seconds on the other side of the map. It is going to be the Pittsburgh Knights that are there first, but they stagger out one. That's going to be Raver. They lost Toti on the other side, so 3v3 is going to ensue. The spawn's going to come in for that spawn point towards the bottom unless they block it. They do get the block.
They get a block on the spawn, and I want to see what Xploidz does here. As Xploidz has to get a sneak kill onto Raver, I think, and he's going to bounce into him. Does get the kill. 4v3 on the map now. One player inside of the hill. Here comes the flash. They've taken over the hill. Nobody was in it. Dezo! What in God's name? What on earth? I don't Jacob, I'm not calling. I'm not gonna try to. I'm not calling nobody out. But boy, what the hell's wrong with you?
You could have put your little pinky toe in just a little bit longer to keep it contested. But that just goes to show the pressure that Noble was putting on. I said they had to bleed all of those hills dry and play perfect on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights, that it didn't matter. A few seconds, a few slip-ups on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights cost them at the very end. It's so hard to play against the Noble squad that is right in front of you and then play perfect. I don't think those two words can go in the same sentence and have any bit of truth.
Well, I'm curious, Jacob, based on the positioning. I wish we could have a replay of it. I'm going to have the stream pulled up off to the side because I want to see those last few moments again, because there's a part of me that thinks that maybe Dezo had a call out where he's like, I'm going to get angled immediately. They're flying into the hill. Let me roll back. I need somebody to step into the hill, because I believe he had a player right there behind that secondary box. I'm not sure who it was. It couldn't have been Raver. He was already dead. I think it might have been Monkyz, but that person just didn't get into the hill quick enough as Dezo rolled out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those split decision moments where you have to be perfectly in sync for it to be pulled off, and they just weren't in that time.
Yeah, this is some of those moments where you talk about that timing matters, those unspoken bonds. Where once you tell your teammate to push up, sometimes it might be a little too late here. And those are those moments I think where a lot of these close teams kind of lean on in these big moments. They lean on that muscle memory. That's why I always talk about you have to practice perfect. You can't take any days off, and you have to be focused on the prize at the end of the day. And I think Noble just did a good job of knowing each and every one of their win conditions. And not only the win conditions of the overall entirety of the matchup, but each and every one of the win conditions on each individual hill.
So I just saw the replay of it, Jacob, and it was indeed. So Monkyz and Chaoz were playing out toward the close spawn portion of the map. They were lancering players, but as they started to get tagged up, Dezo had to have made a call. I'm alone in the hill. They're gonna press me 3 deep. Like I don't have a chance here. And you'll see right here on the end of this highlight reel, there goes Dezo out of the hill. There's Monkyz trying to up A into the hill. It's literally one player in, one player out ordeal. That's what they're going for, and it's just not quick enough. It's one of those things where it had to be perfect for them to keep it neutralized, but they couldn't pull it off because of just a terrible little, I don't want to say miscommunication, but that's the only way to really describe that.
I mean, see, as much as I want to harp on it, man, I want to do a little bit of harping on it and not harping on it, because at the same time, Colin, you have to play perfect in the remainder of that matchup. You're down 100 points.
Yeah.
I think they got it to, what, 2 seconds at the end after that final hill where they kind of bounced out. Once it was unwinnable, they still captured those times. Dezonide in the back of his head just can't leave that hill. He cannot leave that hill regardless of him and Monkyz are playing the bait and switch or whatever they're playing there at the end of the game. He needs to know not to break that hill, because just as easy, Monkyz could have got chunked out. Monkyz easily could have made that same movement type of thing where he steps out on the other side of the hill, because they are getting pressure. So Dezonide in the back of his head needs to know to not step out of that hill. That is a blunder. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that up to an E, an error on the field if we have some sort of a box score. And those are those learning lessons for Dezonide in the future.
I understand. I know where you're going with that, and I appreciate the honesty. I think the players would as well. I mean, you've got to be able to say what you see on the screen. You got to call it like you see it. And in one of those situations, that's what we just had to witness. And I know, of course, the community is going to have its own thoughts about it. I mean, of course, you know, you don't bounce 17 times, you only bounce 15 times, and you still get a kill. But they're like, man, you weren't good enough, man. You got to get dropped now. All right, I ain't see them 2 extra bounces. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you? But
you got 46 kills, didn't win the game-winning kill. Oh man, you got dropped, man.
Got to get dropped. Got to get him out of here. Got to get him out of here. But look, Noble, they play really well. They give up a lot of points in P1 and P2, but they still come away with a victory in map number 1. They take a map 1 lead as well. Going into map 2, going into execution, we saw the Knights have a bit of a struggle in their initials on checkout. But do you see that being a problem on Tomb? Because Tomb plays so much more individualistically. It's a lot harder to kind of take a big team fight because of how spread your unit is.
Yeah, I think they're going to have at least the potential. And I'm talking potential because they can switch things up. They can play spread out and individual, like you said. But we've seen so many teams, especially with the torque bow down low, stacking 2 players over, making that a focal point. And I think that is what is going to help Noble over the Pittsburgh Knights in terms of they're going to, I think, attack certain players. I think they're going to attack certain spots. And I think they have that potential a little bit more so than the Pittsburgh Knights of taking that step first in this matchup. I think Pittsburgh Knights could answer back, yes, for sure. Possibly even take the series overall, because I do think they're just a little bit better in execution than they are in control. Not saying over Noble, but just in their own game types. It's just only time can tell right now. Noble's playing good, and towards the end of the season, they know they need to pick it up.
Well, Tomb is always an interesting one, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, of course, we have the torque bow down low with the long shot there just in front of that Tomb area, that Tomb entrance. Shocks on either side and the frags all the way at the top. I'll be curious to see which team favors which power weapon. I think I get an idea that the Noble side is probably going to favor that long shot just a hair more, especially when they got a guy like Xploidz on the team.
I'm just hoping, man. I'm just hoping like we start off with a 2 down low for one of these two teams. Make that player that plays Torquebo second guess just running straight in. Make them hesitate for a second in the following rounds by sending those 2 players over. Whether you're double lancering, whether you're having 1 player lancer over while your teammate does get aggressive, maybe throw a flash, smoke, second guess, and plant that seed of destruction in their mind. You can do very similar things in towards the middle and the top half towards sniper, but because of the way the covers are, because of how isolated you can be at Torquebo, I think that's why that side of the map is used for that type of strategy, which we're going to see on towards the screen. I want to see one of these teams really throw that strategy out early, throw it out first, so that way you have that player second guessing a lot of the moves. Is somebody going to rotate over? Do I have to watch my back? Do I have to angle my camera a certain way so I can't reaction shot a flash grenade over a certain cover? And that way you go ahead and can switch up the strategies consistently yourself and keep the other team guessing.
Well, we'll see what they can do here, as we've got to make sure we have all the weapon respawn or all the weapon spawns and placements correct, and we got to make sure that we have everybody rolling out of spawn playing the same exact way and mode here. And as we come on board, we're gonna have the 1-2-1 spread like we normally see. Dyslexic will be trying to take the bottom side of this map. Nobody going for that Torquebo off of initial. Seems like a lot of the attention's being paid to the long shot up top. Shox will be out. Toti will be pressed back into his spawn area, which really gives up a lot of real estate over to the Knights. And it might give the Knights a chance to be able to press in for that power weapon.
See, what had happened was I was trying to wall bounce around and I accidentally went the wrong direction. That's right there what Dyslexic said. He kind of messed up. It's Dezonide just going ahead and like shooting fish in a bear. Once you get that first blood, the other team is going to figure out what advantage they need to take, and they are going to swarm. As soon as they got that middle real estate that you talked about, I feel like that was the moment the round was over.
Well, the Knights take care of first round. They need 5 more to tie this one up. And as you said, the Pittsburgh Knights are feeling very confident lately in their execution. They've played it better since the opening couple of salvo and weeks. And now we'll see what they can do here in round number 2, as it looks like Noble should be able to get this under control. They're going to be able to go out to the spawns that they want and go for the power weapons they desire. This time, Dyslexic will be going again toward that bottom altar. So once again, a lot of attention being paid over to that long shot. Raver bounces in and takes down Xploidz. 2 dead for the side of Noble already. It'll be Toti and Dyslexic, now just Dyslexic, versus 3 players for the Knights, and he's going to be all alone and taken down and out as well. 2-0. The Knights are well in control of this one.
Yeah, and they're doing it through the center of the map. This is where you got to figure, if you're Noble, you do something. You go up top, grab frag grenades. You try to play a little bit more towards the Torquebo, sending 2 players there. Give up the middle of the map as long as you play as a full team, even if you're separated. You fall back, reunite a little while later in towards the round. Once you gather some power weapons and some footing, but it does look like both of these teams are going to stray towards the Noble. But it's Noble getting aggressive in towards the middle. They send 3 players out to make sure no early downs or damage went through, and it's Xploidz trying to get a little bit aggressive. He goes down, backed up by Fearzly. Trade on first blood, going back and forth. 3v2, making a 3v1 by himself as Monkyz, and he gets shut down. Noble, they strike back.
Very quick round for Noble to try to get it on the board, and now trying to even things up in the next one. It's going to be interesting to see what the difference is, what both teams continue to do in order to change up the strategy, change up the location of what they attempt here. We'll see that overtime hill will be spawning at the long shot this time, but I don't know if that's very much a concern of either team, because the first 3 rounds have really taken less than 4 minutes, so to say, I believe.
Everybody is playing in towards the middle. Nobody playing outward. They're playing that full-on team game, and I like what I'm seeing, though. Each one of these players kind of trying to make the move, playing that tug-of-war style game with their positioning. As you see Chaoz, they knows they have that first blood. It's about staying alive. He's forcing Dyslexic into these plays here, and he's getting a little desperate, and it cost him his life. Dezonide, Chaoz reuniting on this team. They have a man advantage, and this is why they're trying to backtrack, Colin. They're trying to get out alive. Xploidz does get out with that sniper, but that separation might cost Toti his life. He's going to fall. He's going to drop, and it's all up to Xploidz. 1v3 situation.
And Xploidz has the long shot, 7 rounds in it. He's got a lot of chances here to try to get a headshot. He's going to be trying to run away just momentarily, not get tagged up too much and possibly go down in his attempt to run away. Nobody giving him the easy headshot though, and the Knights, I mean, they look like an actual just nightmare following you down the street as they bounce around into each one of these covers. And I believe that's 4 shots. That is 4 shots indeed. Where Xploidz is not even, I think he hit 1 body. There's the headshot he's been looking for. He got one, baby.
Oh my God. He's too much damage though. Too much damage. He can't survive this. He can't survive this, can he? I was about to freak out, Colin. I would have thrown my monitor out the window. I know you're throwing stuff. I want to join in on that fun.
I mean, it releases a lot of tension. You're not having a good day, chuck something. I just give it the old
I've never seen somebody throw a $5,000 laptop with such a big smile on your face.
You know, I hate to break it to you, but that laptop had it coming. It wasn't 5K, but that laptop was asking for it. It talked about my mama, and it said some very nasty things about my cousins, and I just said I can't have this no more, and I gave it the old heave-ho.
I'm a little jealous right now. I'm gonna have to figure out something to throw here, especially if something like that happens with 3-1. Pittsburgh Knights are throwing Noble out the window, if you ask me, and they're doing it yet again as they continue to toss out Fearzly, Toti, Xploidz, and Dyslexic. 20 seconds. They tossed out the quickest round of the game so far.
And now only 2 rounds away for the Knights to tie this up 1-1. Noble really struggling here on their execution. And I mean, that is just the thing that they cannot have happen coming into the major. Execution, such a big part of those later rounds. It's where you can really solidify a championship, is being good at this game type. They need to start to wrap some of these things up, start to try to find an advantage against the Knights here. Let's see if they can do it in round number 6. Bouncing around early. Monkyz is a little red. Not tagged up enough to really have to fear for his life, but Raver will be the first casualty of this round, and it looks like Noble will finally get their 2nd round on the board.
Say that's just not too much. That's not enough. That's not enough to convince me. Not enough to convince fans. It's not enough to convince PK that this one is done and over with just yet. 4-2. A quick round like that is good for the side of Noble. You're able to kind of stop the bleeding, but it's good for PK as well. You didn't have, you know, meltdown of a round. You didn't have a lot of mistakes go on. It was just one of those things that happened. Everybody loses their fight. When you come into this round, you have a clear head already coming through. Noble, they send 3 players in towards the middle yet again, which is going to give them an initial early advantage if they can capitalize on it. But once the dust settles, advantage does go out the window. Players now trying to jockey for position in towards the middle. 4 players stacked up from each one of these teams. Nobody in this entirety of the matchup so far playing toward that third pole.
Comes Monkyz, still holding that angle. Xploidz will take over the 90-degree now. They get the down on Monkyz. Big finishing shot onto 1, but the reaction gets the chunk, and they still had 1 down. Chaoz, he'll be in a 1v3 situation. He might try to rotate over that torque, but I don't believe he has enough time to get there, pick it up, and get away from the players of Noble. Noble looking to get this 1 round closer at 4-3. Not going quietly in this one just yet. We will be headed into round 8. Seeing whether or not Noble can tie it up or if the Knights can take it to map point.
I'm already seeing that strategy from Noble working out. Those 3 players in towards the middle right away, 1 player towards the top. That's giving them an early advantage. That's giving them a few seconds of mismatch. And I don't know if PK is really taking note of where the players are running out of spawn from. They're not making any adjustments, but it's this side where Noble hiding those numbers yet again, going back to that default strategy. And this is where Xploidz, he's going in first, trading off shots. He got stunned out, but he returning fire gracefully as well as he gets that first blood onto Raver, which is huge for their comeback potential.
Now Dyslexic trying to go wide, trying to get the angle here on this pillar. Has 1 down, gets the finishing blow there. Looks like they have a 3v1. Dezo, he'll be the last casualty of the Knights. And ladies and gentlemen, 3 rounds back to back to back for Noble. We will now have ourselves a best of 3, really. The first team to win 2 rounds will take this map 2. Noble has roared back into this one on the back of Xploidz at 10 kills, only 4 deaths, and 8k damage. If Xploidz can get inside of the tomb and stay away from the heavy early damage of Raver, he's been pretty okay. He's been able to really not get pressured out, They need to be able to pepper him up, but Xploidz gets down, and that's exactly what the Knights needed to do. They just played back. They allowed the aggression of Noble to take care of business for him, and now the Knights will be on map point here shortly as Dyslexic. He's going to do a whole lot of song and dance, but all he's going to do is wear himself out as he falls to the ground.
This is where things begin to get heated up. Noble. Honestly, this is where Noble's going to go back to their 3 and towards the middle. Nice first Bloods there. Fearzly going to be the hero, ends up to 0. And with Dyslexic in a 4v1, man, he does what he normally does. Just bounce around, just waiting for that time to strike. And actually, no, they don't go to that 3 and towards the middle. They're sticking to that default strategy, and it's honestly the same strategy that they weren't being successful on. That's where Pittsburgh Knights were able to take advantage, forcing players in. That's where Raver gets that positioning and first blood onto Xploidz. Fearzly and Toti are going to fall. Dyslexic by himself. 1v4 situation, and he gets shut down by Chaoz as Pittsburgh Knights win map number 2, and they tie up the series 1 map apiece.
Pittsburgh Knights, will they be able to take a lead in map 3, or will Noble have an answer back as we head into map 3 Escalation? The Knights with a very impressive performance on execution. Can they keep it up? We're going to find out in map 3 shortly after this break. Welcome back to Gears Esports, ladies and gentlemen, and we are in the middle of a heated matchup between the Pittsburgh Knights and Noble. And before this one even got kicked off, Jacob and I were trying to warn you out there. This one's going to be tightly contested. You are not going to see the same old song and dance as you saw in matchup number 1. And we've already got a big difference here as the Knights, they take map 2. They tie it up 1-1. We're guaranteed a map 4 in this matchup already.
Yeah, I don't know who's calling the plays right there for Noble in those last couple of rounds, but it must be the same head coach that called the Super Bowl pass at the goal line. I just don't understand it, Colin.
Pete Carroll?
I don't understand. Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is, Colin. It's just a dumb play call. Because at the end of the day, Noble was sending 3 players in towards the middle consistently. Those were ways, or that was the way they were winning their round, playing aggressive with that early man advantage. For the last couple of rounds that they lost, they went back to the default strategy. Why are you breaking what isn't broken in the first place?
Well, I mean, probably the same reason I do the laptop.
Because it's fun? I don't know. Losing is not fun.
It's not fun at all. I was trying to find a reason why you would break something that's not broken, and I was like, I mean, I basically just did that, so we'll just
glow stick?
This ain't a glow stick. It's not a purple glow stick. Has to be purple because of the fact that, you know, they're the purple people eaters, man. Come on now.
But at the end of the day, man, they're just such an aggressive team. And I said I wanted to see that down low leaning towards the torque bow, but they ignored me, which is fine. Everybody ignores me at the end of the day. But you had a plan that worked. 3 players in the middle, 1 player towards top side, and you stray away from it for whatever reason. So if the Pittsburgh Knights beat you 3-1, beat you 3-2, you look at that map and say, man, maybe he's right. Maybe we need to listen to Jacob just a little bit more.
Sure would probably like to get that one back if you're Noble, but now you got to try to get this one under your belt as we head into map 3. It's going to be Escalation on training grounds. It is going to be a good one. This is a map that is pretty heavily predicated on the ability to win the initials. We've seen some teams have some good retake ability on this map, but with the size of it and all of the extra Lancer angles, it is one of the harder maps to try to traverse after losing that initial. And here we go off to the rip, 3-1 split. Looks like the Knights will take over the backside of the U. Dyslexic will try to roll up into this and put up a lot of damage early. I mean, my man's already at 894. He's got about 1.5 kills. If you know if you know, you know, because every character only has 600 HP, but he's got to find a way to convert some of this damage into kills now. He's got one with 1,500 to show for it. There's a second down, pulls the meat shield. He finally comes away with 2 kills, but the Knights will win that initial fight at the U, and they have the B hill. 2-1 hill advantage, and now maybe pressuring up toward A.
Yep. Big 1v1 won by Raver, even though he did have some help if things went wrong. from Dezonide as players continuously are trying to press forward. Revive is finally going to come through from Noble. They're going to have a man advantage with Monkyz going down, and this is where you're going to see that split up as 2 players are going towards the top half of the map, 2 players towards the bottom. They're just trying to get that overlook. And Xploidz, he goes ahead without the rest of the teammate. That's forcing Toti to try to backtrack, to be there at the end of the day. And this is Noble's chance here as they try to converge towards that middle portions of the match. They got their teammates, or the opponent, I should say, of the Pittsburgh Knights separated to where they want. Now it's just about creating a moment here to stop this chaos, because now the Pittsburgh Knights are playing into that same chaos. They don't let them get set up, and they stop them before they can gain the lead right back. Wow. That's gonna be a full wipe, actually.
Yeah, that is a 4-man wipe, and that is a triple cap domination, barreling down the face of all players from Noble. They're gonna throw as many flashes as they can. They've got to get into the hill to go for the decap or the contestation, but all they do is turn themselves into fish in a barrel. But 2 players from Knights are down, now a 3rd, and this is still doable. I would say still winnable, kind of chunkable. A little bit biteable, flyable, dieable. Monkyz is down, and he's gonna crawl around. But look at the way that this might flip here in just a moment, as the 2-to-1 hill advantage will flip over to Noble. They've got to be able to get a decap at C, it looks like.
Yeah, they need to keep going, keep that man advantage in their favor, because as soon as I believe that's Dyslexic, or I should say Monkyz, I should say, spawns back up and gets into position, it is going to be over. The player overextends towards the top side to put that into a 1v1 positioning. Pittsburgh Knights are battling back, so it doesn't matter what happens here. They're going to have to anchor on towards that neutral, which is going to become their new home mill. And instead of going forward, they have a 3v1 onto Toti here to backtrack and get their home mill. And because of that, I think that elimination there, once they solidify the hill capture as well, I think that one is going to be the final nail in the coffin. Barring any miracles, as Raver's now getting pressured, pushed back. 2 more downs getting cleaned up by Dezonide and Chaoz. Yep, indeed, it was the final nail in the coffin. Round number 1, map number 3. After a big execution victory, Pittsburgh Knights are on a roll.
Pittsburgh Knights, I believe right there with that round, they solidify the momentum. They solidify this map really in their favor, because it's going to be a hell of a fervor fight from Noble to have confidence in this map. Now, they lose that initial, basically because of the fact that they couldn't take care of business. They had somebody up top to be able to lance her out. They get wiped straight away from it. And even though Noble fends off the triple cap domination, Noble just had no answer as they come down the backside of the range into that small hallway. We come into round number 2 here, and there's already a long shot play. So now there's going to be that big team battle over that under the overlook area. And Xploidz is already down, triple lancered. It's the same thing we saw the Knights take advantage of in that execution.
Honest mistake.
Yeah, this is exactly Noble playing into the hands of PK time and time again. They're just getting aggressive. They're doing exactly what they want to do here. Now, if they get this body shot with Monkyz, no matter if it's on that player towards the U, the player going towards the top side, they are going to swarm and attack, but Raver doesn't even need the help with that sniper, as Toti might have gotten a sneaky kill onto Dezonide. This is the opening that they need. 2v1 opportunity on the Monkyz, and if they get that, they get the sniper out of play as well, as Raver is trying to be the hero for his teammate, 2 of the most aggressive players on the team. Chaoz gets shut down. If he wins this fight on the side of Fearzly, he can begin to threaten and press forward if he wants, or he should try to set up for 2, but he's going to fall at the end of the day. That's going to make the Pittsburgh Knights that much easier, since they now have possession of the overlook. Once those 2 players spawn up, they play towards the bottom half of the map. It is theirs for the taking.
Monkyz will roll to the backside of that stairwell and down the street. They're going to get inside of the B hill, go for the neutralization. They will get it, and they will be able to take the hill into their favor, and that will give them the point advantage very quickly. Monkyz gets tagged up one more time by Toti, and now so does Chaoz. That's some great Lancer fire. They get 3 kills here. They will get the 2-to-1 hill advantage very quickly back, and the lead back almost as quick. It's a 3v1 over here at the overlook they want, but it looks like they're trying to sneak Toti all the way to the A hill. That's a long run for him, and the neutralization will be huge. Let's see if he drops off that smoke. Knights, they've got to come into that hill trying to go for that neutralization. They're going to bring 2 players over here now. 1 dead. There it is. They finish it off. Chaoz. It was like he got distracted by Fearzly.
Sometimes all you need is a little bit of a distraction. We've already seen it in map number 1 on Speyer, where Dezonide was a little distracted, steps out of the hill at the wrong time, and you see it here again, but Raver is in that 1v1 spot. And that's something I think Pittsburgh Knights need to take note of and figure out a way to utilize, whether he's stretching forward in 1v1 scenarios where you send 3 players to kind of steamroll one side of the map. I think Raver is a key player for this matchup. I said it, if him and Monkyz aren't playing out of their minds, Pittsburgh Knights probably not winning. Right now, Raver is playing wild.
Coming into this round, Lancer damage out toward that under the overlook area. Call it the broom closet at times when I'm playing the game, and they're trying to get that control of that long shot. And now with it in the hands of Monkyz, he's going to look to the top side of the heaven. He's not going to have an angle there onto Fearzly, so he's just going to back out now and try to rotate down toward the U fight. And one more player left to worry about. That's going to be Xploidz. Big body shot there with a Nasher, then gets the chunk. 2-to-1 hill advantage will go in favor of Noble, but Monkyz just, I mean, with a long shot, ever dangerous, and he will actually rotate back to his home. Attempt to stop this triple cap domination. I don't know if Xploidz needs to stay here for this. Well, I don't know really what's the point.
Yeah, I agree with you. There was really no point to stay, but I think he just felt like there was no retreat possibility either. 3 players chased him down. He probably thought he was dead to rights, regardless of the result. We'll say luckily he did get that sneaky one on to Chaoz, and then that's going to allow for some sort of a cushion with him going down as Dezonide slowly but surely trying to move up, get into that overlook position, try to alleviate some pressure. You're going to see him getting spotted out in heaven. Another player is in towards the God spot, but I think they have that mismatch. If they can catch Toti peeking, this could be the moment they attack the home hill, regardless of if Toti peeking or not. I think they're going to attack. They think they have the advantage there. Trade's coming through. Toti's going to be a player standing. Dezonide finally connecting with one, but the reinforcements are going to come through. Chaoz, he's trying to buy some time for Dezonide to get there. They buy just enough to keep this battle going, but if they keep this one going, it's them that's going to get stuck. Mr. Krabs towards the backside. They now have to move forward. Chaoz gets one. Dezonide getting pressured from both sides. They're going to keep this round going, but at what cost? The scoreline is massively in favor of Noble.
Dezo trying to get that shot there, trying to even up the fight or get an advantage in the fight yet again. 2-to-1 hill cap will go over to the Knights if they can get their home hill back. They're working on B right now, but A hill's been lost. A minute to go to get this victory here, and it looks like Noble is trying to go home to home. They're going for a stretch here. Raver will be mounted up at this ledge. He'll be putting shots out as that neutralization comes in and a possible triple cap starts to come out. He might have to try to hop and drop. Chaoz is going to get tagged up coming into the hill. Chaoz hops up onto the ledge. He's going to get shot over the top with a couple of pellets after all the extra damage that Toti was able to put on. Fearzly with an up A gets another kill. Now the triple cap domination just a moment away, and it ticks on through. Noble, 2 rounds in a row, pressuring out the Pittsburgh Knights. They lead it 2-to-1 here in map number 3.
They did a good job of staying alive in that game, but there's only so much staying alive you can really do, Colin. You need to figure out a way to start getting aggressive. You need to figure out a way to pick up some big eliminations. And honestly, with them getting Xploidz when they did, that could have been a great opening strategy for them, but instead they go towards the top half of the map. They try to go home mill to home mill instead of cutting in and using a 3v2 possibility towards that neutral hill and keeping themselves in the game. And from there, they got stuffed, and Noble took the complete advantage. So hopefully the Pittsburgh Knights can play a little bit more big picture instead of just going straight ahead of what's in front of them.
Coming into this next fight over at the U, the Knights will go for the quick pick onto the M-bar. Lancer shots will get the first down onto Dezo, but it looks like they will have the long shot in the hands of this Xploidz. Dezo will try to hop the cover. He'll be down for a second time. If they go for this pickup, they're going to get shot on and taken down, and they do just that. That's going to be 2 down and dead for the Knights already. One more player to worry about. It looks like they're going to rotate back toward the B hill. It's going to be a 2v1 onto Monkyz. Onto the A hill, now 3v1 actually. They're going to send Fearzly straight up through that middle stairwell. And I wonder if the Knights are actually going to come over to B, if they're going to try to challenge out this mid-neutral hill, and it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Multiple players coming into the area. Xploidz doesn't take a shot there. Very interesting that he doesn't go for the body shot to just stop that player. Meanwhile, the 1v1 is won at the home hill of the Knights. Body shot on that second player, Chaoz, but the triple cap is coming through less than a minute. Oh my God.
Yeah, Chaoz was dead either way there. Even though he didn't get the touch, I don't even think he gets a chance there. That player just needs to go in. And even though Raver's doing all he can in this matchup to keep his team, but he needs some help. Somebody call the Pittsburgh Knights to get him some help right now. Everybody is just coming up short left and right. And I'm particularly looking at Monkyz because Dezonide and Chaoz, I feel like, are more role players than anything else. Monkyz needs to come up big like we know he can. He has the potential. Honestly, I think and we had one of the largest KDs at one point or another. He just needs to show it here.
Here comes the fifth round, excuse me, first round of the second half. Going into that closet, Dyslexic will have those incendiaries to use if they wish, which is why I don't believe they pressured into that M-bar off of the initial again, because he could easily throw it and try to pick off the player that comes into that fight. But Monkyz now, he'll have the long shot for his squad. Dezo will get picked off by Xploidz. Backside of the U, top side of that overlook, double shot down and a kill onto Raver. And now Monkyz, I think, has to rotate back over to F just to try to wait for his respawns. He cannot give up an angle to anybody. He's going to have to make sure that they come off a spawn, they have a full four-man push, and they can try to go for a retake somewhere. And I think Monkyz, he needs to use that long shot to get body shots onto the player at the top of the overlook. So when they try to come around that corner, they might be able to get that down and out.
Yeah. And if I'm Monkyz, I almost want to say give that sniper up. He gives it up towards Raver. And that's something that can definitely work out for him with how well he's playing, but at the same time, he's playing well with his shotgun. He's playing well with getting in your face and causing those disruptions. So an interesting choice here as Monkyz stretches through, gets that first down onto Fearzly. That's going to alleviate some pressure, allow them to kind of set up towards that home hill, but it looks like they're going to continue to attack. They thought they had that mismatch, but it cost them their life. Chaoz gets taken down. Raver's going to fall. Sniper's out of play. Monkyz is able to get one, but that's just going to be a down for now. He cleans it up. Teammate gets one on the other side of the map as well, but gets flanked from the spawn. That's Fearzly returning to the scene of the crime, and now it's up to Dezonide here. Dezonide needs to figure out a way to stay alive, even if it gets decapped, and he can't even stay alive for a second to prolong that exchange, as even with a lead, Noble getting that second hill, trying to take commanding lead over this matchup and strike first in the half as well.
I like the positioning here from the side of Noble as they continue to pressure different players. They're going to continue to play a little bit of a defensive stand. Xploidz, though, missing some shots here, and you can really see the after effects of how tightly contested this matchup really is. Middle of the map, a down on Dezo comes through, going into the closet. They're going to clean him up. No, they're going to leave him to bleed. They're going to go on the flank. Fearzly trying to come in on the 6 o'clock, get shots onto Chaoz. Chaoz will be tagged up heavily inside of that U fight. They're going to pressure back out. Raver trying to chase Fearzly out, and Fearzly will get killed off. Meanwhile, home-to-home stretch going over to the side of Noble. There's the quick pick on that hill. Less than 15 seconds to go. They've got to get a 2v1 victory here. Toti trying to bounce into that player, trying to get at least a kill, but won't be able to get it. Now they're going to try to mount up a defense at D hill. Only hill they have left. Less than 10 seconds to go. Closest player into the area is going to be Dezonide. They got to get it down to about 3 seconds. They have 2 seconds to get somebody on the hill. Don't have anybody there yet. That's going to be it. That's going to be all she's said and done. Noble, 1 round away from a 2-to-1 map count.
It just seems like nobody in the squad can really pick up the pace right now. They are literally getting outmatched. I know stats don't say or tell the full story, but when you're not winning little battles, you're not winning individual exchanges, you're not going to be winning those big team fights as well. So 4-1, Noble's getting aggressive. They're taking control of the weapons, the overall map positioning. They're funneling these players into the certain spots in which they want and separating them as well. So even though one player might have a chance where he's picking up a couple of kills, it's not that full team effort. So they cannot be sustained over the course of the game. So it's only been 1 round so far. The Pittsburgh Knights have been able to escape with the sniper, the N-bar. You see Instance kind of picked up. The first down is going to come through. They get the positioning in towards the sniper and the M-bar as well. This is the moment that Pittsburgh Knights either put up or shut up.
Lexic is full red, and he's going to go down, be taken out as well. Raver is about to get flanked. He's got to be curious not to get pinched here. He's got one player coming into the hill, the other player trying to bounce down the steps, but
oh my God.
Raver's a madman.
He needs help. He needs help, Colin. I just got an Xbox, man. I've been saying it. Sub me in. I don't even know right now because he needs help in this matchup as none of his teams are able to consistently win the fights that he's winning, as Monkyz narrowly escapes with his life as Xploidz tries to line up one. Everybody really coming off of respawn, and that gives an advantage over to Noble. They were able to stagger out that death, make Chaoz bleed out, and this is where they're, instead of pressing forward, they're just going to set up, gather as much information as possible. That's mainly going to be Xploidz trying to figure out where this push is going to come from. He's going to see everybody moving around way before it even happens.
And doubling up the scoreline plus some. Xploidz, once again, I really just struggle with that M-bar lately. Just a lot of shots missed. I love him to death, but dude. Like, I'm saying dude with like 2 O's, not even 2 O's, 2 zeros. But there it is. Say? Thank you, Raver. I appreciate you for helping me out by letting Xploidz hit a beautiful shot onto you so that I can stop giving the man hell about it.
Nah, he's just making you eat your words. Hopefully you cook them up real nice. I know you say some nice things, so hopefully they tasted just as good as now he's getting pressured. Chaoz by himself, and you can see it. They're just getting desperate, Colin. The Pittsburgh Knights are just falling apart before our very eyes like a soft fresh cookie. They're just getting eaten up by Noble right now, and they see it. They got it like blood in the water, and Chaoz, they're just going and hunting down their opposition and letting them know exactly what they think, showing absolutely no respect, even teabagging them as they win 5-1, closing out map number 3 and taking a 2-1 lead in the series in 5 straight rounds. 5 perfect rounds by Noble.
I wouldn't go as far to say perfect. Pretty dominating, though. Pretty dominating. There were some scary moments. I mean, you really gonna tell me that Noble had a perfect round where Raver just went absolutely nutty buddy on 2 people back to back? I'm sure they would look at that as, my man had 20K. My man, Jacob, get on the horn. Dial it up. Dial up the help for him. For you, call somebody.
Because you know they all kind of live together. Is Raver looking at him like, damn, bro, y'all need to really do something? Or is he letting them slide? It's okay, guys. We got this. Maybe next time. Which one is that's the one he's. How do I tell them they suck without making them suck more? No, jokes aside, though, Raver is putting on a clinic, and this is the moment where you separate the men from the boys, Colin. Where the rest of his team, I don't know what.
I think Raver might separate the men from the boys inside the team house. I'm telling you, this is the look. I mean, just staring down the line, like,
what do I do?
Y'all want me to say it? Or y'all want to admit to it? Y'all want me to say it? Y'all want me to admit to it? Help me!
Help me! And this goes to show why these are the moments right here. In that first round, Pittsburgh Knights was able to win. And from there, it was all the Noble show. Noble all the way, which is like little shines, little salt and pepper here and there to kind of spice up the food for PK. Overall, the main course, wet and wave, Noble. And honestly, whether it feels dyslexic, Toti, big plays from Fearzly, they had everything under wraps. Even Xploidz just really putting multiple players on skates, and he kind of heard you saying, hey, you just got to put that torque bow and N bar to use, and he immediately picks up a flashy kill.
I also was thoroughly impressed with the staying power of Noble on the opposing home hills. A lot of those rounds in the first half, the way that they were able to rotate people across the map quickly to be able to help each other out was very well done, in my opinion. And we saw it pay off in dividends with the triple cap dominations. But you just don't see that very often. You see teams either get yeah, he had to have revved it. You can't not rev the M bar.
I didn't mean to rev you. He's just
no. It's I understand. No. It's I got you, baby. I got you. Hey, look, it was so pretty. You were like, wait, what? He just pulled the. Did he just pull the trigger? He was saving that shot in his back, but he was saving that shot in his back pocket. Is that what you're telling me?
I feel like, man, he was waiting for you to say something. I'm just waiting.
I dare you.
2 minutes behind, but he heard you all of this.
Colin, I dare you to keep being an idiot. Go on ahead. I'll make you look dumb. Don't worry, baby. Well, we go into Reactor now, and we've talked about how the Knights have had some good moments on this map, whereas Noble has kind of had some struggles as of recently on this map, where they started out hot. I mean, they averaged 150-point wins the first couple of times they played it, but now we go to it. Do you think Noble is going to come out and just, be firing on all cylinders? Is this where it ends? Is it 3-1? Or do you see PK being able to bring this back, get it to a 2-2, take it into that map 5? Do you see the life still in him? Or do you think that was just snuffed and stomped out?
I think the 3 players, everybody but Raver. I think those 3 players right there are having such a bad performance. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. They are having a performance that's like a shell of themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's the same win condition I said during the predictions. If Raver and Monkyz aren't playing out of their minds, they are not winning this series. They can bring it to a map 5, but bringing it to a map 5 means absolutely nothing at the end of the day. It just means you're getting hopes and your dreams ripped out from underneath you if you don't come out on top. Raver is doing everything that he can. He has that Gears of War esports backpack. He went ahead and brought snacks to the party, and it's just everybody's just not doing any. They're eating the snacks, not doing any of the work. What is wrong with them? PK needs to pick it up, and it starts with Monkyz. I'm putting unfair pressure on Monkyz. I'm going to say it now.
I heard snacks and got distracted. I'm sorry.
Let's say wake up. I know the Pittsburgh Knights are sleeping, but not you too.
I thought I'd look. I started thinking of snacks, and then I was like, I gotta have something to drink with my snacks. Are we going to go purple drink, which is like sugar water and purple, or are we gonna go like apple juice? What are we getting here?
Oh man, I like a good apple juice. You get a nice cold apple juice.
Crispy. It's got to be crispy though. It's got to like hit the spot.
Ruth used to bring home little apple juice boxes when she used to work manage a school cafeteria. That was great.
Did you just admit to Ruth embezzling apple juice boxes on?
No.
Stream?
No. She would buy them. She would buy them, and the brownies too, and the chips.
Well, we'll find out if Noble can embezzle this map number 4 away from the Knights. As Monkyz is going to be trying his darndest to do exactly what you asked him to do, and that's try to outperform his previous performances. And Raver is chasing Fearzly with that torque bow with everything he's worth, and he chases him all the way out to his side of the map. And now the Knights will have Monkyz in the middle of the map to be able to Lancer at the 90-degree angle, but it looks like Noble will try to set up here to stop the rest of the Knights from moving into that neutralization position. Whether or not they can do it and get away with it is a different story. Dyslexic will go down, and now one person on the flank going to be Raver, I mean, he's got to be like the Terminator right now. Like this, the call out's got to be, he's coming for you, Fearzly. He killed me. I don't know what to do.
Raver's playing with a chip on his shoulder right now. He knows, he probably feels it and agrees with me. He has to play big. He has to be the slaying powerhouse that we know he can be. He just has to consistently put up those big numbers in every single situation. And majority of this time is going to go over towards Noble. A chance for the Pittsburgh Knights to tie it up if they bled it dry, but they need to begin to make these rotations. That's why you're going to see Raver begin to play towards the top half of the map. That's where Dezonide is going to cut in towards the middle as well. And it's going to be Noble who are set up for the hill. I do think this positioning for the Pittsburgh Knights or allow them, or at least the potential to possibly get a pick, and then how they converge from there is going to be important, because if they don't converge as a team, it's going to be all for nothing.
There goes Dyslexic going for the revive here. 2 players in front of him. Good little fake right there. I love that fake by him. Trying to bait out the extra shots as they come on the extra angles, but now 1 down comes through. But there goes Raver, trading out downs, trading out damage, and now the hill back in favor of Noble, trying to extend this lead here. And they've done a good job of retaking it and setting it up defensively. Looks like the Knights are going to set up where that torque bow is and push in from the middle of the map. 3 players coming down that hallway. Dyslexic waiting in the wings for somebody to try to run past him. Gets 1. Body shot on a Monkyz. Second shot gets the down. Up base coming out left and right from Noble, trying to find some of these kills, but looks like 2 or 3 trades coming through. But no, they're not trades at all. Nobody traded. What kind of a barter system is this? Noble's just taking everything and giving up nothing.
This is the United States of Noble at this point as they continue to just dominate everything in front. Oh, what was that? What was that, Colin? Chaoz just disappeared right before our very eyes.
Oh boy. Oh God. Anything but the raccoon wounds.
Just tuning in and wondering what happened this series. That's what happened this series. Dyslexic just putting on a highlight reel for everybody at home. Xploidz doing the same thing, connecting with Chaoz. Almost goes back to back. That's going to be a little splash damage that helps him in the end. Dezonide goes down to Dyslexic. Pressure is going to be there. Multiple angles are going to be continued from the Noble squad as they try to push in. Great frag grenade from Monkyz to try to separate these 2 players. That's going to lead to the death of Dyslexic. A Raver gets a double kill. Is going to be huge. Make that a triple kill as he gets a little help from Chaoz as well. So all of those big plays are finally stuffed as the Pittsburgh Knights are finally accumulating some points here.
Looks like Xploidz mounted up against Monkyz here. They're going to be continuing to hold this block. 2v1 down at the bottom side, though. Now 3v3 as both teams lose at least one player. Raver trying to rotate up. Now he's going to go right into the face of Toti, but he gets the kill there. Now it's a 3v2 over toward the hill. Monkyz doing everything he can to answer back, but the Knights get a pretty lucky spawn, if you ask me. They get a quick flank out. Xploidz, though, I mean...
This is war, bro. This is haymaker after haymaker. This is two heavyweights going blow for blow and not wanting this one going down to the judges' scorecard. Raver again. Dezonide beginning to heat up as they have to make that rotation. So they did a good job of finally winning that battle, but it was basically for maybe 1 or 2 seconds. They stepped in and quickly stepped out. Next hill towards the top half of the map. Torquebo's going to be up as well, but it looks like the overall positioning favors the Pittsburgh Knights, but for now, as the Xploidz is trying to push in, Toti gets taken down, so Xploidz going to get met with a 1v2 situation. 3 players done and dusted as Dyslexic falls as well.
Raver will be waiting over top of that overlooked position here for that shock grenade. Chaoz will end up being the one to pick it up. Shot over the top. Fearzly will get that kill onto Dezo. Dezo with a Torquebo now. First bolt out. We'll get some extra splash damage on a Fearzly. They get the smokes in front of him. Big pick there on a Fearzly. One player down. Nades in the hand of Noble, but they have not rotated him in just yet. But I think one player is waiting in the wings here. Gets flanked out. Xploidz is down. Unsure if anybody's going to be able to make it to him in time. It looks like Monkyz is going to try to go for this angle to get that pick through the window. Quickly revving it up. Quickly shooting it out. And Xploidz down and dead. I believe that was 3 or 4 kills alone with the Torquebo, and that is exactly what Knights needed. That's what the doctor ordered. Up over 100 points now. First frag in. Gets a double kill. Now Monkyz will be pushed down to the bottom side of the hill along with Dezonide, and Monkyz is going to try to bounce in, but Toti with the L trigger is just too heavy-handed for him to deal with.
And look at that quick rotation. Toti immediately going in towards the middle of the map. And with 30 seconds left, this is where Noble, even though they're getting a little bit more points on towards their lead, they have to start thinking about that rotation to come through. Where is it going to be? What is the most advantageous spot? While simultaneously looking at the weapons. 20 seconds left for the shock grenade, 45 on that Torquebo, and 55 for those frag grenades. So they do have some time to make this move and try to make a shot in towards the hill. And if they're not successful, they can spawn back up and make a second push with those power weapons. It's all theirs really to make this decision.
Dyslexic is trying to look across, and he's going to be trying to get information. Raver over on that left side is the linchpin to this defense. If they push up, I like that Raver's keeping his patience too. He's not getting baited out by Dyslexic, but now Dyslexic's in a spot where Raver can basically roll out, get an easy angle onto him. Dezonide down to the bottom side of the map. Will get one down, but won't be able to clean it up. Now Chaoz trying to get shots over the top. He'll be the one that ends up cleaning it up, but it looks like the rest of Noble is starting to fall off on the map. And the Knights, they'll have a great defensive hold here, and they will deal a decent amount of damage along with racking up the score line after a couple of more kills. But I mean, what a trade there by Fearzly.
Yep, that was a good trade by Fearzly. Dead to rights regardless, so even picking that one up to alleviate some pressure elsewhere. But Chaoz is going to have an opportunity to put that pressure right back with those frag grenades. One getting dished out. Make that 2, 1 towards the left. Only one is going to connect, but it's going to connect on the target that has the separate angle as Chaoz picks up a double kill. Reinforcements are on the way. They need to be able to stagger this step out onto Xploidz, and they do, but Fearzly gets a trade of his own. Torquebo connecting with Chaoz. Revving up a second when he knows exactly where Raver is, and he gets the splash damage. Elimination onto Raver. Fearzly getting the control right back, but Dezonide shuts down Dyslexic. That's a nice back A from Dezonide. Trade off these eliminations with 12 seconds left on this hill. Those respawn players immediately are going to go for the next hill, while either one of these players honestly can be gifting somebody a good spawn.
There's the down. I think he's going to leave him for the bleed out to do his best job to get across the map in time, and he's going to go across that P1's position. Noble has a player down and out. Knights will finally pick up one. Now they're going to pick up a second. One player left for Noble in this fight, and it looks like they're going to get flanked out here momentarily. Toti's just trying to stay alive long enough to give his teammate a chance to get the flank and the damage on. Once again, Chaoz will take the wide angle here, not allow anybody to pressure up onto him. Dyslexic's trying to get out there against him, but the extra Lancers come through, and the Knights, they will shut down a retake here from Noble early in this one, and this should give the Knights a 200-point threshold crossing moment. They will now be under 100 seconds away, 100 points away, really, from a victory over the side of Noble. If they can just continue to play this kind of defense, it's going to be very hard for Noble to come back into this.
And I think this is what you were talking about, looking at the picks and bans, that this isn't necessarily Noble's best map. For them to come out and not only play it, but pick it as well. It's a little bit of a surprise. Probably thinking maybe recent scrims, maybe recent matchups made them believe otherwise, but it's only getting worse and worse for Noble as this one does continue. Toti gets separated. Dyslexic gets taken out. Only a down, which is going to be nothing as the revive is going to come through. And that's where you have Dezonide just getting as much time as the hill. The rest of the team making rotations on the other side of the map, trying to anchor themselves. Another one. And they have a 3v2 here. They just need to know it. They need to press for it. Xploidz, he becomes the target. A down's going to get through. Unable to get cleaned up just yet. Back-to-back downs for now. Finally, it does look like it's going to get cleaned up. Toti gets Torpo, but the eliminations, all the sweet eliminations are going to PK.
Sweet eliminations indeed. 70 seconds on this hill will get them the win. They have enough time on the hill if they hold it perfectly and bleed it dry. Noble will need a neutralization at least for a second here. They're going to need a 2-second neutralization in order to keep this hill from being the last one of this round and of this map. 3 players pushing in. They step off of the hill. There is 1 second of the neutralization they needed. Still enough time. There's the second. They get the break. They get what they need. They now can hold the hill and try to play some defense. Raver, they're waiting in the wings. Fearzly has no idea. Absolutely zero clue what was about to happen to him.
Consistency of this matchup is insane, and that's something that you need to see even in the lowest of low moments after they got swept in the final back 5 rounds of that last map. Having somebody be in the rock you can lean on is absolutely massive, but right now it does look like Noble are having their moment in this matchup. 249, 167 and counting, but that moment almost getting shut down by Dezonide. He almost gets 2 eliminations, saved though by Toti on the side of Noble. And with those eliminations, 10 seconds left on the hill, they're trying to press forward, but they get stuffed. Great respawn and great hold from Noble, keeping them funneled in, not letting them escape that trap that they have set up for them. Woo!
Good little reaction, good little up A there by Toti. Dezonide looking toward that Torpo spawn, sees 3 players of Noble trying to pressure in. 50 seconds to go now. Noble had a good amount of points come back into their favor there. Monkyz will be playing bodyguard here for his teammate and answering back. I mean, that is just the shots out of Chaoz and Monkyz there. Toti's got to realize, I mean, Toti at that point has got to be looking at his teammates like, guys, what just happened? We started with a good down. We had a chance to try to take this hill back from him quickly, and now we're scrambling just to save our life and save our map. 265 to 179, 35 seconds away. Xploidz will pick up the torque. This is that point that we talked about earlier on Speyer. The Knights, they can really just force Noble to bleed every hill dry.
Any more to his team play, you see the damage there. Great shot from Dezonide. Kind of blocking one out. Great play. Try to cause some destruction and distraction. Monkyz using that to his advantage. He gets a double kill. Dezonide got one. Chaoz got one as well. At one point or another, even though these players are spawning up, that was a full 4-man wipe, setting them back to start. 10 seconds left. They just need a mad dash. There's going to be no hope, no dreams. Just one last attempt. 5 seconds left. Nobody getting close. One's going to get downed out. Dyslexic gets stopped short. And the Pittsburgh Knights will achieve 300 and bring us to a game number 5.
What a fight back by the Pittsburgh Knights in that map number 4. Again, absolutely scintillating, sensational fashion. Will the Knights suffer the same heartbreak in map 5 and lose it 3-2 to the Noble? Or will Noble continue to crumble and drop map 5 to the Knights? Find out just after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Esports. We are now in the middle of a heated battle between the Knights and Noble. It is all tied up 2-2. Noble has officially lost the execution and the second control. We head into map 5. It'll be another execution. And Pittsburgh Knights, they took advantage of the mistakes of Noble in both of the maps that Noble has dropped. Do we see any kind of turnabout being fair play here?
Yeah, I want to say yes. I think right now Pittsburgh Knights have stepped it up. They've been able to discombobulate a lot of what Noble had success on early. I think they have as good a chance as any. I think this one is going to be one for the ages. I think the Pittsburgh Knights have shown today that they can be strong, but I think overall it just goes to show that they're still an inconsistent roster with some lows happening a few weeks ago and having such a high right now before our very eyes. Whew, that's a good one.
we'll see what they can do here as you watch over the highlights from this map. And I really wish that we could take a moment and just revel really in the idea that the Knights really fixed their biggest problem over the past few weeks in these two maps that they've won. They really fought for one another, really shot for one another, allowed themselves to get easier fights. They're not forcing themselves to win straight up 1Vs. They're not taking, you know, as you used to so eloquently put it, kind of like a 50-50, like you're just flipping a coin hoping you win the fight. Everything is a heavy damage initial where somebody's going into the fight needing just a few pellets to maybe get a down or an out.
I gotta agree with you. When I'm looking at Clocktower though, Colin, we've seen one wild Clocktower already today. Clocktower is one of the maps I love to see as a game number 5. I love to see it as a game number 2. Honestly, Tomb and Execution and Clocktower Execution, I think, two great maps for the cycle. I think it allows for many different styles of play. And honestly, I think the winner of this match usually always takes control of the game, different strategies, or it's just another team unable to stop a one strategy that has been prevalent. So going into this one, Pittsburgh Knights have been looking good. I expect a lot up top from both of these teams, but I think they could sneak away some rounds, whether they're going down low for a flank or utilizing those frag grenades. I think the potential is there, especially when you have some players that have been big all day long in the past 4 maps.
Well, we'll see who takes advantage and who tries to bring in a different set of circumstances, maybe some different strats here in just a moment. We are rolling out of spawn in map number 5. Looks like Dyslexic will be waiting down low, and I'm already a fan of Dyslexic in this map because he's playing as one of my favorite characters. Got introduced in Gears Tactic, was added to Gears 5 later on. That'll be Sid Redburn, but he gets taken down. Toti answers back with a down there, and it looks like Monkyz is going to be the one that rotates in for the kill and the revive. So 4v3, but now answer back 3v3. Noble sacrificed one player. They basically said, Dyslexic, you're on your own. You're basically a pawn here because we're going to go for the overload up top and try to get the long shot in favor of Xploidz.
I'm trying to see right now, you got Raver with a bit of utility, you got Monkyz with the flashes. If you stack Raver and Monkyz on one side, one person can flash up, right? Force these players to either stay and contest because they can't run away or they'll get flashed, or they'll run away. That's when you can either utilize some damage, possibly try to throw the frag above them, try to catch them off guard. But it does look like the Pittsburgh Knights are going to anchor down low, which leave Dezonide again. Dezonide always puts himself in that flex position. You got 2 Slayers on each side. Dezonide able to help either one of those 2 players. But on the other side of things, Noble, this is where you kind of have to go ahead and lean on towards one side. Noble has Xploidz sitting in that host spot, but since he's on the host spot on the right side, you almost got to think you're going to have to show your hand if you're making that rotation over.
We'll find out what they want to do in this situation. 25 seconds until that hill will spawn. And it looks like they're trying to bait out somebody. They're trying to pressure somebody. They're going to pressure toward Raver. Dezonide might be coming on the flank, but Xploidz has already shut him down. There's the down on a Raver as well. 3v1 situation. Xploidz has to worry about Monkyz in front of him, but there's the down. There's the kill. And first round over to the side of Noble. Really happy with the way that Noble was able to solidify an advantage or an advantageous position by sacrificing Dyslexic. Sometimes you've got to give up the short-term gain for the long-term win, and that's exactly what they did right there. And I love to see that selfless act from a lot of these players, specifically someone Dyslexic, who's known to be the flashy, high-risk, high-reward style player. And it goes, I like how he's willing to die for the team as well. As you see him playing down low, crosses over the top. It's going to help him a little bit against Raver, but it's also going to hurt him as he becomes a target. Raver knows the damage is there. He doesn't have very much damage on himself. He keeps Dyslexic red. First blood on over to Raver. He's continuing with that flank. Toti knows he's coming. Misses a quick crucial shot. He gets taken down. Raver continuing with his destruction, map after map, kill after kill, and he cements himself in that round and take it away from Noble. Well, let's see what is going to happen, what the answer is. Raver already up over 3,000 damage. Like you said, continuing his onslaught map after map. 3-1-1 for Raver already in this one, and just an impressive 3K damage already. I mean, if they get a win here, even with the upsetting loss, Raver really puts himself in contention for Player of the Week with this kind of a performance. The way that he's able to go against Noble and not just be the thorn in their side, but I mean, he might as well be a goddamn knife in the side of Noble because he has kept them bleeding all night long. A revive, a quick headshot out. The nade was thrown, but it won't find anybody. Looking for another body shot, but Xploidz, he's giving up the 90-degree over to Chaoz. Answered back, won't be able to find the second one. Raver back A onto Dyslexic, but he gives up the angle, and Dyslexic will take him down. That'll be a 4v2. Noble looking to take the lead once again and go up 2-1 here in map number 5.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what the communication was like there. You got to know the Noble players are backtracking out of that fight. Where are they going to go? Common sense goes to the other side of the map, especially if you're by yourself and they get the call. So 4v2 here, sniper in hands. They have utility picking up some of those extra flashes on each one of those sides. And honestly, I do believe the hill is going to be down low as well. And he's giving up.
All right, well, Xploidz got the down. Fearzly finished him off. Xploidz just trying to maybe get a hip fire shot, trying to get a little highlight reel, but they knew that it was all over. I don't know what they could have done in that situation to fight back against it. I don't like the idea, and I don't like what I just saw on my screen, but it doesn't change the fact that Noble's up 2-1 now, and Noble wins that round, I think, way earlier than that with the 2 initial kills they got.
If 50 Cent said it himself, you either get rich or die trying, bro. That's what I need to see every single time in these matchups. So Monkyz to kind of go down with this I don't like it one bit, especially when you're not having the performance we know and love yet to have. And this battle down low is going to be won all map long in this game number 5. Dyslexic gets peppered up, though, as Raver's going to get the call out. First blood from Dezonide up top, though. The bait and switch, not letting Xploidz get out with the sniper. And there goes the rest of his teammates going to fall. Dyslexic, 1v3 situation. He gets taken down. PK tie us up at 2 apiece.
Going into round number 5, I'm curious to see if Noble will take that as a warning shot, really, that they cannot keep with the same old song and dance to give Xploidz that early long shot pick. I love that the Knights were able to pressure Noble out of that situation, get some kills on, and then be able to finish that round off, especially after giving up that last round. That was a good round to see. Still got fight in them here. First to 6 rounds. Both teams tied up at 2 apiece. Raver's going to get tagged up. He has to roll back. Looks like they also brought Monkyz in there to challenge over onto Dyslexic just to make sure Dyslexic didn't go for a quick pick there on the frag grenades. All 8 players up top now. Double back pillar strategy for the Knights, and they're going to finally rotate that player down behind that prison. Whereas it looks like on the opposite end, Noble will be standard as well. Post-secondary prison and back pillar. Beautiful little layout shot, trying to catch as many players in the same shot. Thanks to the one and only Ribs, who I believe is observing tonight.
Trying to look, everything's going to slow down. This is where I like when things slow down. That's when you see a lot of people like to save their flashes for that very last moment and then stack 4 flashes, smokes, and try to make that heroic effort towards the ending portions of the game. You see Xploidz saving his own. I think Toti might be one of the players that used them on the other side. It's got to be Monkyz as well, and Dezonide. The overall utility advantage goes over to Noble. Fearzly's going to throw his out on one side towards the back sniper as well. They're going to actually try to go for that early down, but it costs Fearzly his life. So 3v3 is going to continue, making it a 4v3 actually, as nobody was able to pick up that elimination on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights. So not only do they have a man advantage, I do think they can back out and get a flank as well. That's exactly what Dezonide is going to do. He's trying to gain some footing because he knows the hill is going to be low side.
Curiosity killed the cat, and this time it was going to be the thirst on the down player that kills Noble as they lose a second, now a third, and finally Dyslexic their 4th. Knights, they win back-to-back rounds. They take a 3-2 lead here. They're looking to win this map 5 and get a big victory over Noble in an inter-regional matchup, locking up horns here, and this is a chance for the Knights to make a big statement. I mean, after last night's lackluster defeat at the hands of Oxygen, Noble has to come away with his victory. There's going to be a lot of questions about kind of not their character really, but about their ability going into the major.
Not the doubt you want to have that close as Raver just gets caught out this time around as Dyslexic is going to go ahead and get that first blood, and the choice is his. It actually looks like he's going to go for an early flank. I wonder if he got the call out of Dezonide backtracking. That Lancer Fire was just enough damage, but Dezonide misrolls at a crucial time, costing him his life. Pittsburgh will go down, and Noble will tie it up.
So back and forth we go. There's the teeter-totter. Both teams tied up at 3. We are in what would be considered the second half of this map number 5 now as we enter into round number 7. And we're just trying to take a look at what these teams are going to do round to round. I mean, and it really seems like at this point, it's pretty much who's making the first mistake, who is making the blunder. Because when Noble got over aggressive, got thirsty, they lose the round. Dezonide, little misroll, they lose the round. It basically is coming down to which team is giving up the angle, which team is giving up that extra step, the extra advantage. Still checking Raver down low. They're not going to put Dyslexic in a bad spot here, and Dyslexic's job is to just make sure that Raver can't continue his reign of terror on this map number 5.
I like how you kind of laid that out, though, Colin, about the mistakes, because sometimes we always talk about the big moments. We talk about the big plays. Winning some of these battles and wars and Gears of War could come down to minimizing the mistakes and simply just capitalizing on your opponent, giving up. As see Raver, he's getting crossed out. He throws that first flag to try to alleviate that pressure, and he's still getting taken shots at from above. And this is the chance for Dyslexic to strike. He gets spotted out, and honestly, that spot could save the day, and down's gonna come through. Dyslexic knows Raver's still low side, about to flank. Nobody picked up that elimination just yet. The rest of the team, they're trying to go over. Everybody's making rotations on both sides of the field, and Dyslexic goes down first, though. Great plays and great rotations by PK to retreat as a team to get that man advantage, and now they're doing the same thing, but this time they're going uphill. They're getting aggressive. Double down from Xploidz, who's not missing a shot right now with that sniper, but I might have spoke too soon. Connects on the Chaoz. Down coming through, but an elimination going for both ways. Now he's by himself. 1v2 situation as he gets a headshot. 27 seconds, though, Colin, before overtime starts.
Both players from the Knights still up top. They're going to rotate down low. Xploidz needs a headshot here. He needs to be able to get a kill on a player misrolling, on a player trying to poke out and get that Lancer damage. The hill is going to be behind that car. He's going to move up here. Oh, he's full red. Oh. He goes down trying to be a little fancy there, trying to get a little trickery, maybe trying to bait somebody out to go for a headshot. But I mean, that's one of those instances again where I think the mistake, in my opinion, Dyslexic gets that first kill. There's a 4-man press out to the side. The mistake really comes from from Noble when Xploidz gets that first down as the Knights try to pressure back up the hill. Nobody's in position to clean the down up. And because of that, Team Revives just saved the day with each player having, 3 opportunities at down and out, and all of them taking every one of them to the best of their advantage. They just come away with a lot of Team Revives. This is going to be Fearzly with a big kill here. Raver throwing both nades over the top. A lot of smoke has clogged up the sight lines, and now Toti finds his second kill. Everybody down, everybody dead. Once again, 4-4. Best of 3 now. First team to win 6 rounds.
This is that game number 5 feel. Best of 3, like you said. And you got to go ahead and look. Almost every round, Raver is pressing up down low. No matter what the side is, he's forcing Dyslexic down there. And you gotta give him props on the side of Noble, giving up those frag grenades for free, pushing across and dodging them. Raver needs to be able to utilize those frags just a little bit more because they were so free for him. This time the contestation is there, but the first down, Monkyz goes down on towards that host spot. Unable to get revived just yet, but somebody's there. That's Xploidz with the Cypher. Dyslexic gets first blood, dodges the suicide attempt with the frags, and Monkyz goes in trying to even things up. He gets taken out. Fearzly strikes and gets 2. It's all up to Dezonide, and he falls to Dyslexic, and now it's Noble on map and series point.
What a flip of the script. Knights now have to be perfect 2 rounds in a row. Noble, I'll be curious to see if they take this next round. Wait a minute. Somebody broke 10K. Toti. Big Toti.
Fever, bro.
I don't know what's the word for boss in Spanish.
I don't know, but we can call him El Jefe.
All right, El Jefe Toti. Got it. Big man on campus out here. BMOC, all right? 10K damage, 5-4, 1 round to go. And this is what I was about to ask. I think Noble, I was curious to see if they were going to try to be a little bit more passive in this round and force the Knights to win it rather than them lose it type of thing. Like, instead of pressuring into the Knights, making them have to win it, making them pressure out players from Noble. Toti will reload his Nasher, now his Lancer as well. Shots onto Raver, continuing to keep him peppered up down low. And I think Toti's going to try to use that tree as a little bit of an extra blocker if he has to stand up and shoot Raver down low as he tries to rotate out here. And Raver just continuing to try to bait out shots. Toti again, trying to make sure that they get a double shot onto him, double Lancer even. Dezo will move up into that host spot. Toti has to move away from it. He could have gotten crossed out. Big body shot there on the Monkyz. Not going to go down, though. And again, just a lot of damage early, but no downs to show for it. Stalemated for a long time in this round. Jacob, do you want to go PGA on him for a moment?
I mean, we can. I just want to see Dyslexic right now. Dyslexic needs to run up top on this. It's going to happen. They're pushing across up top. Dyslexic is going. They're letting Toti sit in towards that host spot. They get the sniper out with Xploidz, but double down towards the back lane. He tries to play here. He gets one. A team kill, Colin. A team kill. Monkyz takes out Raver. Sniper's taking out Monkyz. 4v1 Chaoz all by himself. Game number 5. The pressure in the world, and it crumbles before our very eyes. Noble, hold on to the round and take the series.
What a blunder in that moment. I mean, I don't want to call it anything other than that. Raver has been your MVP all map long, and it's not Noble that has to take him out. You do the dirty work for him. 6-4. 3 rounds in a row. Fearzly might get the MVP, but it's gotta be Toti. The amount of times I saw Toti helping his teammates, adding extra damage in, him and Dyslexic up over 10k damage. Noble with the series win, 3-2. It goes to the wire, really. We were 1 round away from the entirety of that matchup, but I mean, all that just for nothing.
I don't even know what that was, but I was watching that one go down, and Raver in that very last round, you saw throughout the course of the matches, he was playing down low, getting aggressive. One of the rounds, he even got Lancered down. That last round, he didn't even want to make the move. There was too much pressure there, and Dyslexic didn't have to. That's what I was thinking while I was slowing down. Dyslexic keeps from getting spotted, can easily rotate up top with that right-hand advantage towards the top side. They had more than enough utility to cloud that move to come through. Toti was putting all that free fire down, so Dyslexic and the rest of the team just made it easy. Xploidz going in, and he came in just in the nick of time because they went for that sniper. A double down came through, but they just got too greedy. They went towards a head-down play to try to clean up those eliminations, Colin, and with that much pressure on your shoulders, it's just one of those things that you just look back as like, man, if we would have just, watched out for the player, we had 2 downs, you know what I mean?
You do realize also that Dyslexic, I love the personality of Dyslexic because he just stayed up in the fight. He stayed up in the angle. And it had to be somebody calling it out because the double down back pillar, you see Dyslexic already past where the long shot spawned, and then all of a sudden he finally turns around to come back for the friggin' revives. He's like, wait, what? You guys are down? Nobody told me. And they were like, we said it like 48 times.
And just looking at the course of this match, and this was really legendary. Big plays from both of these teams. Herculean effort. So I think Xploidz, Toti, everybody deserves credit. Can we give out 4 MVPs? Can they share the crown? We have to choose one. Just break it apart and give them all a piece. I don't know, but Toti going that big. Look at that. 2 straight kills there. Dyslexic. See Dyslexic down here.
Jacob.
Dyslexic again. Look at these replays heated.
I didn't even notice that we had 2 players rage quit, by the way, Jacob. I'm looking it back on the rebroadcast right now. I didn't even notice that, baby.
With Monkyz and who else? Call him out. You love to call him out. Get scared now, Colin. You see the box score at the top. Noble, 3-2. And overall, man, 2 different 6-4s on executions going either way. Control.
Have no idea what he's saying.
So this one really did come down to that escalation where Noble was just 5-1 over their opponent. 5-1. It was 5 straight rounds.
Baby.